Welcome to the training. Today you will learn how to get bookings with Instagram, and it will be the ultimate guide. My goal is that you leave here with nothing but action steps and zero confusion. But if you do have any questions, any comments, concerns, I have my email at the end of this slideshow. Feel free to use it. A couple things before we begin. If you want to find people who love your Airbnb or hotel through social media, 10x your Instagram following by creating content that demands attention, and finally turn that Instagram traffic into bookings, you're in the right place. This is the training for you. In order to proceed, a basic understanding of Meta Facebook ads is recommended. I linked a video here if you're unsure how to do that. You can still watch this full training, and at the end of this training, you will get an email with these slides. I recommend still take notes, but maybe at the end of this training, I would rewatch the entire thing after you've figured out, or at least watch this video on how to run Meta ads. You will need Instagram and Facebook pages for your company. You will need a business portfolio on business.facebook.com, and you will need a direct booking website. And if most of you, I'd imagine, use PMS systems, most of those PMS systems have a direct booking website capability. This session will be about 60 minutes, and at the end of this session, you will have access to my email for questions. Please use it. I will read every single email and respond to every single one. We're going to cover a ton in this session. You may want to rewatch the recording at 1.5x to 2x speed or reread the slides. All right, let's get started. Today, you will learn how to find, create, and run great vacation rental meta ads for direct bookings. If you already know how to run meta ads for more direct bookings, this is still going to help you. If you're a host with one property, a manager with multiple properties, or just starting out on your rental journey, or simply sick of relying on OTAs like Airbnb and VRBO, this is for you. All right, here is the game plan for the rest of the day. First, I'm going to teach you how to find good ads. Second, I'm going to teach you how to make good ads through sprint testing, which is the greatest marketing thing since the equivalent of sliced bread. Then I'm going to teach you how to set up direct bookings campaigns. And then I'm also going to teach you at the end how to get the most out of your top performing content. Sound good? These 4 simple steps will help you waste less time and money on your marketing because we are going to get our guests to create our ads for us. Quick notes about me before we keep moving. My name is Scott Quinnell, pronounced Quinnell, even though there's a weird S in the middle. If you look up Quinnell Canada, it is spelled almost the same, except they have one less L than I do, but it's spelled and pronounced the same. I think it's cool. No relation. I am Canadian, but there's no relation to the town of Quinnell, and I'm from Quebec, so no relation, but it's kind of cool. It's almost like if your last name's Anderson and you found a town called Anderson. Same stimulus. I'm the owner of a 6-figure direct booking agency, the writer of The Lodge Social, which is a newsletter with over 5,000 5,000 weekly readers who are all rental operators like yourself. And as an agency, we average a 4x return on investment for our clients. I have made hundreds of thousands of dollars using this process, and I follow this process weekly through my agency, Lodge Social. All right, let's dive into section 1, how to find good ads. First, what makes a good ad? Strong hooks, headlines, or callouts, walk the viewer through the properties and special features, or the things people want. This will make sense in a second. They clearly tell people how to book. The captions are listicles, reviews, or lead magnets, and all good ads have high quality videography. Here are some examples. I won't show you these examples. I'm sure you guys are familiar with these brands, but there's no reason why they're so successful. They clearly tell people how to book. All their captions are listicles, reviews, or lead magnets, and their videography is some of the best. Quick note, none of these guys are clients. I just really respect their work and what they're doing in the space. A lawyer will like that one. Good ad should act like a movie trailer to the full experience of your stay. For example, have you ever seen a movie clip on social media and thought to yourself, that looks like a good movie, I want to watch it, then search for it directly on the internet? If people aren't ready to book when they see our ad, worst case scenario, we want to encourage that same behavior. All right, how to find good ads. First, find an account that you think markets well. I just gave you 3. Search them in Meta Ads library, reference their format, and repeat this until you've found 10 to 15 ads that you like. Let me just show you this quick. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna do Bolt Farm Treehouse, and then you can find all the ads that they're running here. What I'm saying is this. and then reference their format. So you'll notice, all right, so opens up with their premium amenity here, 2 actors walking down to that amenity. Amazing views. I will say, as an agency, views, if you have one, kill. All right, so they're walking down to the premium amenity, doing the most desirable thing possible, I imagine, at Bolt Farm. So their format looks like it's the same storyline of using that premium amenity and looking over the views. So that's one example I guys give. Same thing, premium amenity, a little bit of views, possible. So I think you guys get it. And the best way to get good at ads is like, so to some Bolt Farm Treehouse, they have a premium amenity and they have views, and they just showcase, it looks like they just showcase that in their ads everywhere possible. Views. For this one, they showcase the property. They're going to kind of different format. So I'm not going to ramble, because the more I ramble, the more confused you'll get. But what you want to do is use the same 3 I just gave you, or find some of those rental accounts that you really like, and then just pay attention to the videos they make. So if most of their videos start with outside, the first 3 seconds is outside of the property, maybe you should make 10 to 15 ads that start with the outside of their property. Don't overthink this. I guess I just went over this. So take note of these elements. What's the hook? Oh, hang on 1 second, technical difficulties. So take note of these elements. What's the hook? What is being featured? And what's their call to action? You can make your notes in this little worksheet I have for you. I'll open this up too. So URL, so you don't forget it. Hook. The hook is 2 things. It's going back to, well, actually, I still have it up. So the hook is this. So the first text you see and the first thing you visually see. So the first thing you read and the first thing that you see. So take note of both those items. You'll start to notice commonalities in your worksheet. And then pay attention to the call to action. Some of them don't have call to actions on the screen, so check the caption to find that. All right. If you need more inspiration, I found 25 great headlines. You can get my cheat sheet here. I'm not going to click into it, but this is what it looks like. It's just a bunch of links. I hope you enjoy. Now we know what good ads look like. What do we do with this information? 2 things. Section 2, how to create good ads. This is done through sprint testing. This is the best part of this. If there's one thing I recommend you take from this training, this is it. Sprint testing is the quickest way to see which part of your property gets people to book. How it works. Step 1, do competitive research. We just did that. Step 2, create a sprint plan. Step 3, test the creative. Step 4, test the headlines. Step 5, recreate the competitor ad. After going through this process, you'll get 3 to 5 ads that work. Since we just did competitor research in section 1, we will start with how to create a sprint plan. List out all the variables you want to test, your property or properties, and the headlines. And then there are some other variables to test, like exterior shots, interior shots, premium amenities, if you have more than just a hot tub and sauna, and local attractions if you really want to get into it. I have a sprint plan worksheet that helps you prioritize what to test first, second, and third. But today we only sprint test 1 round of creative, or today we will only sprint test 1 round of creative and the headlines, because those 2 variables drive 80% of the results. I do want to say, for us at Lodge Social, we really just focus on these 2, because it really just moves the needle the most. All right, back to where I was. So test number 1, the creative. Here's how it works, and I'll slow it down a little bit. Capture 15 to 18 different variations of 1 variable. So 15 to 18 different variations of your property, 15 to 18 different variations of your pool. So people jumping in, getting out, having drinks, having a fire next to it. That's what I mean. And then you want to fit those images on a 1x1 canvas on Canva. This is exactly what that is. So that's equal sides. And then advertise all images in a traffic campaign with no description. I guess I just went back on the whole actors thing. I might actually take this out of the presentation because there is some juice to it. But at the start, just to keep it simple, don't include actors. If you do run a second sprint test, sure, include actors. I will say, and we'll get to this later in the training, actors do kill. Like, having them in your videos is a very good idea. But for your sprint test, start with just sole photos of your property. The weather should be the same for each shot, so do it in the same day. My goal here is to see which property is the most sexy to my guest. I wrote this. If you have just one property, just take 15 to 18 shots of your same property. If you have multiple, focus on just a couple at a time, and then you might want to just consistently run different tests just to see which property overall wins. But yeah, I hope this makes sense. And then here are the metrics. So 400 to 1,000 impressions per ad is plenty. The lowest cost per click wins. The 3 ads with the lowest cost per click are your winners, and the winning creative moves on to the next round. So 400 to 1,000 eyeballs is plenty. And then whichever, this is just a metric you'll get in Meta ads and Facebook ads, your cost per click, whichever one has the closest, it's golf, whichever one has the closest to 0 is your winner. And then whichever 3 have the closest to 0, we call them our golden ads. So they're not the winners, but they're the golden ones. All right, now I'm going to walk through how to test headlines. You want to make sure your creative test is 100% complete before moving on to the headline test. Test number 2, the headline test. Write down 15 to 18 headlines on a Google Doc. Have some that are 5 words and some that are a couple sentences. And you can reference my top 25 headlines cheat sheet here. I think it will be helpful, at least at the start. Here's how it works. Put these headlines over your number 1 property from the creative test. So your winner, just your winner, same thing. Fit all the images on a 1x1 canvas on Canva. Advertise all images in a traffic campaign with no description. I do want to preface, the headline should be over your number 1 property. Don't test 2, don't test 3, just test the 1, because what we're really trying to figure out is what headline wins. We want to eliminate as many variables as possible. The font should be Arial, Canvas Sans, or Comic Sans, and my best headlines are audience callouts. What is an audience callout, Scott? An audience callout is saying something like, this is the perfect getaway for families. I'm calling out families. Or this is the perfect mountaintop retreat for couples. I'm calling out couples. So saying families, couples, people who love the Smoky Mountains, just calling out a specific person. 3 hours from Nashville is another call out. Those are my best ones. Then the metrics are the same. 400 to 1,000 impressions per ad is good enough. Lowest cost per click wins, closest to 0. The 3 ads with the lowest cost per click are your golden ads, and the winning creative moves on to the next round. Sprint testing is a very inexpensive way to let your guests create ads for you. Each test costs me 36 to 40 bucks. Seriously. The ad creative is important for capturing attention and making your guests go ooh la la, but a good headline gets them to click and learn more. So quick recap before we move on. What you want to do is test the biggest creative variable, inside, outside, upside down. Just kidding. Inside, outside, or multiple properties if you do have multiple. Test 15 to 18 different headlines, all in a traffic campaign. All right, section 3, recreate competitor ads. This is where that competitor research matters. I'm going to show you 2 ways to recreate competitor ads, DIY and done for you. Whichever one you pick is just totally up to you. It all depends on your time commitment, your schedule, and those things. How to recreate competitor ads, do it yourself. This is for capturing the content. Match the shot types to the ads that you saved in that list that I gave you early on that you got from Meta Ads Library. Prioritize the winning creative variable. So if, for example, let's just say I have a house on a mountain in Tennessee. We'll go with that. If my winning creative variable visually is the house overlooking the view, which if this is you, I will put $1 on that actually being the case. You can email me if I'm right or wrong. I will put $1 on that being the case. If your winning visual is the house overlooking a valley on a mountain in Tennessee, that's what you want the first shot of your videos to be. And then if your winning headline was perfect mountain house for couples, that's what you want the first thing people read to be. I think that makes sense. iPhones work. I recommend drones as well, just for those aerial shots, unless you want to have your cousin climb a tree and take a photo. Up to you. I don't judge. If you want to make the shoots easy for yourself, feel free to use our Lodge Social shot list. It does allow for a little bit of creative freedom, but it gets you within some parameters, so you're not running around your yard for 8 hours and capturing whatever moves. And then I recommend for editing tools, CapCut, because it's easy, or Adobe Premiere Pro, because it just has more capabilities and more functionality. Whichever one you pick is all up to you. If you're more of a production type of person and you just want to do things and do them fast, do CapCut. If you want to have things look a little bit nicer and more capabilities, more features, go Premiere Pro. A couple quick notes for the headline. You want to have it at the 50% mark or the 75% mark of your screen. So if the bottom is 0, the top's 100%, it's going to be between 50 and 75%. The cuts should be 1 to 3 seconds. And the cut is how long. So what I'm essentially saying is the clip length for each clip within a video should be 1 to 3 seconds. And then you want to use Instagram-like fonts for any sort of text you put on the screen, which Comic Sans, Money, Serif, Normal, Almost Published are some great options. And then just practice. I mean, take a couple, like 2 hours a week is all you need to just like really learn the tool and crank out some videos. All right, if you don't want to do this yourself, here is how to get started. First, hire a professional. That can cost $500 to $2,500 to get them up to your property and do the shoot. Influencers can also work to do this. Just make sure that you tell them what you're looking for, and usually they can translate that in their head. There are many ways to get editing help. My favorite places to hire is Upwork, or you can hire us, Live Social. We can do this for you. And then just make sure that people know what to capture, and make sure your editors know what to show using the shot list, and then also give them your notes from what you found in Meta Ads library, and just say like, hey, I need 15 videos, 10 of them, the first 3 seconds has to be this shot, and then the text has to be one of these 3 variations, because I did the sprint test and I figured this out for $36 to $40, and I'm not really willing to invest in all this content without knowing what will make my guests get excited. That'll sell them. Before you move on, you need 3 to 5 finished ads using the winning 3 variables from your creative test mixed with the winning 3 headlines. That's your homework after this training. Pro tip, always be creating new ads. Sometimes ads will get fatigued. Sometimes people will get sick of seeing the same thing. So just always be cranking stuff out, because at some point it will become second nature. All right, section 4, how to run ads for direct bookings. Before we begin, Meta needs to know what a booking is via the pixel. Your budget should start small and grow over time. So start at 20 bucks a day and then grow it, so long as you make money. And the campaign goal is sales. Your ad set audience size should be 2 to 15 million people, which sounds big, but you need it. I mean, that we've gotten the best results in that range. And I recommend targeting only one interest at a time. Our favorites are frequent travelers, people interested in Airbnb, camping, and travel. Your age range should be the default 18 to 65 plus. You will not see results for 7 to 14 days, and that's okay. This is your learning period. Think of the metapixel as a brain. The brain has to educate itself, especially at the start. And don't overanalyze your ads. Let Meta find your buyers during these 7 to 14 days. Here are the metrics that you need to pay attention to. Clicks, cost per click, property views, or whatever your step 2 in your booking process is. So this is what property views for some people is what it is. So they go to your website, they click on Tennessee Mountaintop Home to see the price. That's typically what the second step in this process is. You do want to monitor that, because if you have 1,000 people click to view your property in one book, then you have some issues there, but it's all within your listing. So maybe it's a pricing issue, maybe it's you don't have enough dates open, whatever, it really fluctuates, but you do want to pay attention to that stuff. Bookings, obviously, and then cost per bookings are the last 2 that you want to pay attention to. Some others, just to monitor, is your follower increase, leads, and bookings. Just to set some expectations, your cost per click should be $1 to $3. 10 to 50% of the people that come to your website should view your property, or whatever stage 2 is for you. Bookings should be about 1%, and cost per booking should be 20 to 100% of the value of that booking. I'll explain that really quick. If your booking is worth $100, you should pay anywhere between $20 and $100 to get that booking. And then some other expectations, your followers should increase and it should snowball. So you should just get more and more month over month. You should get 1,000% more leads and bookings. And for your bookings, you want to get a 1 to 3 return on ad spend. Let me explain that. So your goal is to get at least $1 for every $3, or your goal is to pay at least $1 for every $3 you make. Let me explain. If a guest on average books 2 nights and your cost per night is $300, you do not want to pay more than $200 to acquire that booking. 600 divided by 200 is 3 to 1. I just want to touch on email marketing really quick, and this is pretty important. The reason we dive into leads so much, the reason we care about them, is because we might get somewhere in the ballpark of 1% of people from our ads to actually make a booking. Because if you see an ad, you're not going to book from that ad. You got to go talk to your friends, your mom, your family, whatever, and plan the trip that you plan to go on. And so most rental operators, they give people really 2 options on their website. Option 1 is book, option 2 is leave. We like to give a third option of come into our ecosystem hang out with us. We understand that you have some thinking to do before planning a trip. So how about this? We'll offer you a deal. In exchange for your email address, we'll give you a coupon for 50 to 100 bucks off your first booking. Sound fair enough? And so from there, we consistently email our list anywhere between 2 and 4 times a month. And that results in 9 times more bookings. So it results, I'm going to just try to rephrase this a different way. If 1% of people who come from an ad book, we get 9 times that offering this email marketing option. So I highly recommend it. I think it will be worth your time. You always want to be testing new ads, new audiences, new budgets, discounts, and giveaways. You never know what's going to work. So just always test it. I recommend like 10 to 20% of your budget. Just have that be your play money and figure out if something else works better than what you're doing now. Do not test new variables or ads in an ad set that is doing well. And you do not want to increase your budget by more than 20% per day. Otherwise, you will re-enter the learning period. And that's expensive, especially after you get out of it. All right, let's do a quick recap. What to do next? Find competitor ads on Meta Ads Library. Sprint test the biggest creative variable in your business, the property listing or listings. Sprint test 15 to 18 different headlines. Recreate a competitor ad, either do it yourself or hire professionals. Create a direct booking campaign and always be testing to make it better. Follow this process and I promise you will spend less money on guessing, let your guests create ads for you, get more people to fall in love with your stay, and book direct when they travel again.